Ladies first.
Well, okay. Hi, I'm Beth Lacopoli. I'm one of the co-owners of Diamond Hill CrossFit in Cumberland, Rhode Island. But I live in Rentham, Massachusetts, just over the line. But the business is in Cumberland, Rhode Island.
And I'm Keith Mackey. The other.
The other one. That's right. Yeah. So I mean, myself, as I said in my Facebook thing, was that I was a holdout in my family in coming to Diamond CrossFit. I think the first day I came, I met you, Keith, when I signed up, I think Tala and Hanzala initially. That's when we met. And then after that, I was like, yeah, sounds like interesting. And my wife was like, I'm always in pain. I was like, no, I don't want to go there anymore. But I got used to it. I was in pain for a couple of days, but it was good. It's been really nice for me. So if we just jump into the questions that I'd ask you, we can go, one by one and see where we go from there.
Sure.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I believe it was that we wanted to talk about the mentality or the idea behind CrossFit as opposed to other gyms perhaps, or other ways I could go work out myself too. For me, motivation is very difficult, except when I have a class that I have to come to. So if you could explain that a little bit, that'll be a good starting point.
Well, when I first saw the question, like Keith will kind of pick up on this as well, but when I first saw the question, I was like, oh, the mentality, thinking like, why was CrossFit created? Like, what's the thought of like, why do we have this CrossFit, this health and fitness program? Started CrossFit was actually a health and fitness program to optimize your health so you can live a long, independent life, right? So you can be functional into your old age and sort of keep chronic disease at bay. So trying to get an optimal health was sort of the original of his thought process as to why he was developing CrossFit. I know maybe in the beginning, sometimes there are some like negative views about CrossFit, but he designed it as a health and fitness program, like I was saying, so you could live a long, independent life free of chronic disease.
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception people have with CrossFit is, I have to get in shape to do CrossFit. And they don't realize that it's just a brand name for functional fitness, is getting people in shape. So because it's universally scalable, anybody at any level can start at any point in their fitness journey. So you could be already tip-top shape and you want to get better at that, you can come and do CrossFit. You could be really out of shape. Maybe you have diabetes and you need to lose 30 pounds. You could come and start CrossFit. You're going to start at a different place than that person. You're going to be doing ring rows instead of pull-ups, using a box for your push-ups instead of the floor, using an empty barbell as opposed to putting weights on your barbell, things like that. So every exercise we do has levels for every ability.
Yeah. So CrossFit can meet anyone to whatever fitness level they're at, right? So
yes.
If you're not quite ready for the barbell, you could even use a PVC pipe to learn movement, or dumbbells. There's always a way to meet the athlete, the member, wherever they're at in their fitness journey with CrossFit.
Just take your family, for example. You guys got, the boys are pretty fit. They're in good shape. You do burpees and running and stuff like that all day long. And then, your Huzna and yourself and Amina is somewhere just behind them, but at all different levels. So you guys can all, do the same workout together. You're just going to be using different weights or scaling your movements just a little bit. So you're doing the same exercises, but just doing a slightly different version. Yeah.
And I think for me, when I came in, I was like, oh, that looks easy. Like rope climbing, I was like, oh, rope climbing, that looks fun. And the first time I tried it, I was like, yeah, I'm not ready for this right now. So scaling all the exercises really, really helps, and it motivates you. Like you can see somebody else doing something, and you're like, oh, I need to reach to that level. So there's a higher level that you can get to.
But you keep at it and you get better, right?
That's for sure. That's for sure.
As well is that we're working out in a group as part of a community, and it can be really motivating, like you were just saying, like when you see something doing someone doing something just like a little higher level, like the rope climb, you're like, yeah, I want to get there someday. And also in CrossFit, which I find is like, even that person that can do that rope climb, they're like, hey, you can do this. They're going to help you and encourage you to get to the next level. So I feel, especially Diamond CrossFit, I think we've created like a very supportive community where anybody can feel comfortable coming into Diamond Hill CrossFit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And could you talk about the different levels you have too? Because you obviously have adults and then you have teenagers. You have a few programs going on.
We have ages 4 and up. Our oldest member is 71, I think now.
Wow.
So there's 67 years between our oldest and our youngest members.
Wow.
But yeah,
and most of our classes are everybody together in one. So the classes aren't level, but we have our kids class, which is 4 to 10, and then our teen class, which is 10 to, anywhere up to 18, depending when they're ready to come into the regular class. And then you get your regular class, and that class is, scalable depending on which levels. And each class, we do the pre-leveled, but those are really just suggestions for people, just to make it easier for them to say, all right, normally I'll do a level 2 workout. They're telling me level 2 is a 44-pound kettlebell. 44 pound kettlebell might be too heavy for them at that point, so maybe they don't do L2 for that day. But those are really what we've done to make it easier for the members to enter a workout and know, about where they should be at. Their goal is always to get to that RX level, but I think sometimes the hardest thing for us is the people who do RX a lot of times, trying to get them maybe to back off a little bit, because it's not always the intention of the workout isn't always heavy. So maybe it's a lightweight for somebody. We gotta sometimes scale people back, just like we would for every member.
So we just
gotcha.
Generally guidelines to help people feel a little more comfortable as they come into class, the levels that we do within the adult CrossFit classes. But certainly as coaches too, that's our job, to help guide the members, the athletes to, the proper weight, like he was saying, to get the proper stimulus, the proper intensity out of the workout. So, and that's another aspect of CrossFit. The coach is really there. You're in a group setting, but it can be like, to some degree, having some individual training, because the coach is focused on the class. The coach is not doing the workout. They're watching the athletes in the class and making sure they're moving properly, that they have the right weight and things like that.
Right. Also, could you talk a little bit about the size of the group? Because I think that was an advantage for somebody like myself. Also, I know you guys knew, for example, when I came in, that I'm not at that level. So I know you gave me some individual attention, and you sort of knew, which was pretty impressive, that you knew the levels of each of the people there, or at least I don't know if you categorize them in like group A, B, or C. And that was really, that keeps you going, because sometimes if you're just like number 1 from 15, you're just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to stop showing up.
I think we really like to get to know everybody. Like we want to be really integral in your fitness journey. Like you're saying, I want to know, this is where Fawad is today, like in the beginning. And also, I don't know if you're referring to like our class size. Like when we do our beginner class, we keep that class smaller, 4 to 6 people. Sometimes there's only 1 and 2. So we can really get to know you as an athlete and how you're moving, so we know when you're ready for certain things. And also, I think for certain, to move up in the level within the class. So we really like to get to know each athlete. We spend time watching people move, knowing where they're at, so we can help guide them and help them feel comfortable in the class. That's a big part of CrossFit and Diamond Hill CrossFit.
Yeah.
All our coaches know the new members when they're coming into classes.
Yes.
So they keep an extra eye on the newer people, so that we can make sure that you're doing the movements right, make sure that you have the right weight. Because in the beginning, it's harder for you guys to know what weight you should use when you're just starting out, so that you can get that stimulus. And it's not always about that stimulus, especially in the beginning. It's more about form. to make sure that you move, lift a heavier weight, but we want you to be able to do it safely and properly. So you might start with a lighter weight just so you can really work on that form and get that form down before you move up in your weight.
We don't want people to get injured or hurt. That can be discouraging, or just using the wrong weight could be discouraging in a workout.
Yeah. I was going to the why before that, and not to knock anybody, but the thing was I was trying to learn. I got a little bit of coaching there on some movements, but I think I had the wrong form in some of the exercises that I was doing there. And when I came to you guys, and when, especially also, I think when Talha saw me doing something, my son, and he was like, oh, he's like, no, he's like, that's the wrong form. And I was like, what do you mean that's the wrong form? That's the right form. That's the way I do it. And so I remember, Beth, because you were my trainer in the starting, that you emphasized form, and I was like, oh, that's how, because I think there was a little bit of a back issue that I had, and I was like able to get beyond that by doing the movements properly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And well, that's what happens sometimes. Bad form will eventually, more than likely, lead to an injury. So that's why we want to make sure that, the better the form, the more your fitness level will go up as well. Because you'll be able, if your form is good, you'll be able to lift more weight, which will help you increase your fitness, or you'll be able to lift that weight faster, and then your cardio and your endurance will go up. So if you're not having to stop a lot of times when you're not using the proper form, you're using extra muscles and extra energy to get that weight up, or whatever the movement, even if it's something like, ring rows. If you're doing a ring row with poor form, you're going to use more energy, which is going to affect you during that workout and tire you out faster.
Yeah.
So the more efficient you are, the better your workout will be.
I think, actually, like for even for kids, for teenagers, if they're involved in sports outside of CrossFit, CrossFit really is, like I said, it's a general physical preparedness program. So it sort of lays the foundation. It doesn't teach like specific skills, like if you were playing soccer, right? So we're not going to teach soccer skills, but we're going to get you more fit. So within the soccer game, when you're playing, you're going to see improvement in your game. You're going to be able to get to that ball faster. You're going to be able to, fend off those defenders. So it can make you stronger and faster by laying this sort of conditioning piece for your sport.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, totally.
But it will help you to move better in whatever sport that you are playing.
Do you have people in your program who are experiencing that too? Do they use CrossFit for the purpose of training for other sports?
Yeah, we've had
some
a couple
of our
volleyball players,
our high school
athletes.
They'll come in and they'll use CrossFit as their off-season training program. They'll dial it back a little bit during season because it can be taxing, and if they're practicing volleyball 5-6 days a week, adding in 3 or 4 days of CrossFit could affect their conditioning,
their recovery.
Make them not as able to perform at their sport. So if they do come in, they'll generally back off as well and use it more as a conditioning aspect as opposed to like lifting too much or things like that.
Yeah.
Over the years, we've had high school football players. We've had people who are just runners and they want to get some strength training into their routine as well. And then they see that the conditioning and aspect of CrossFit, along with the strength training, actually helps them recover faster from their runs and things like that.
We've had people come through, and some still members that do, use CrossFit to improve in their sport.
I feel myself like my stamina has gotten a lot better. I can see a change. I haven't been there for that long, but I feel there's a lot of change in my muscle structure too. After just maybe I think 2 months or so far.
Well, I think too, like when we're talking about proper form, like it does bring, I don't know if you found this, but it just brings, I think, better body awareness, where your body is in space when you're squatting or putting something over your head, doing the push-up might be a good example for you where you're like, oh, I thought I was doing it right?
Yeah.
And it brings, I think, better body awareness with some of the like body weight gymnastic movements that CrossFit incorporates, like the push-ups, pull-ups, ring rows, even just a basic air squat.
Yeah. Yeah. Form so important. Yeah. I think I learned how to bend after I came to you guys properly, which is so bad.
But I think, and that's like the other thing with CrossFit is CrossFit uses functional movements, which are movements that our bodies are made to do. We're made to like squat, like the human body is made to squat and put things over our heads and pick things up off the ground. We are actually made to do that. Sometimes just within our daily lives, like if we're on the computer a lot or we're driving a lot, we get stuck into these positions. So by doing CrossFit, it can, like I'm just using the driving and the computer as one example, it can open you back up, improve your posture, improve your breathing and things like that. So not even just like when we were talking about sport, but also it can improve like whatever you're doing outside the gym. Like you've said, you've noticed an improved like stamina, whether it's just like bringing groceries into the house or, you know, playing with your kids or whatever it is that you do, you can notice just an overall improvement in your health, your fitness outside of CrossFit.
Totally. How did you guys get introduced to CrossFit?
We both kind of got in it a little differently.
You can go first.
I started with kind of like a boot camp that CrossFit was running. It was an outdoor boot camp, and I was kind of skeptical at first. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I need these group class things. I like working out, going to the gym, doing my own thing.
Yep.
And then I did the group thing, and I really liked it. And then when that ended after the summer, I was still looking to get into that. And that's when I, you know, since I had been doing like CrossFit style workouts, I was like, well, I might as well try this CrossFit thing that my friend's been trying to get me into forever. So I, you know, jumped in, found, you know, CrossFit Franklin, and from there, you know, got hooked.
Wow. How long ago was that for you, Keith?
2011.
Yeah.
So
wow.
It'll be 9 years in September.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And I'm like, then that's actually how we met. So like I was a personal trainer at in Franklin. So when he was talking about CrossFit Franklin, the gym that started CrossFit Franklin was just like a smaller sort of, for lack of a better term, like the box gyms. You know, they had some group classes and personal training, and I worked there in the front desk and as a personal trainer.
Okay.
And they wanted to start a CrossFit as part of sort of the main gym. They wanted to start a CrossFit. So they asked me if I wanted to go through the level 1 to become a CrossFit coach and work as well on the CrossFit side of the gym. So at first, like Keith, I was like a little skeptical because I had been into bodybuilding. Like I did more body style workouts, which are more like isolation movements, working with machines and some cardio, but sort of the cardio, riding a bike, running on a treadmill, things like that. So I was a little skeptical at first, but once I took the level 1 and learned more about it and just saw like not only physical changes that people were making, but like mental changes, just, you know, people becoming more confident in their bodies and what they were capable of doing, and it sort of branched out into other parts of their lives as you got to know people. I was just, oh, this is really is amazing, the results that you can get from CrossFit, not just physically, but the changes it can make mentally in your life as well.
Totally.
The group camaraderie that you get of being in a CrossFit class as opposed to, you know, taking a spin class or, you know, cardio kickboxing or one of those where the teacher's up there, the music's cranking, you know, and you're just moving the whole time. There's a lot more personal interaction between the members, the coach, and everybody, that it becomes a lot more personal. Yeah. So
just, like the connections that you make with other people in the class, which I think is also very important to, you know, good physical health, good mental health, is having those connections with people. And in CrossFit, you get the workouts, and also you're connecting with people. And they may be some people that maybe you might not necessarily have met, you know, if you were just outside of the gym, but within the gym, within CrossFit, just making the connections with everyone there at the gym.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's true. Yeah. I feel that too. I think we're getting connected to a lot more people in Cumberland through Diamond Hill CrossFit, just by being there. That's for sure. The really impressive thing, I mean, I'm really impressed with the way that you guys have dealt with the quarantine and doing the classes. I have a friend of mine who goes to a kickboxing gym up in Cranston, and he said, I haven't exercised at all for 1.5 to 2 months. And then I was telling him about Diamond Hill CrossFit, and I said, we are continuing classes, even if I'm not able to join on the Zoom classes, but the home WOD, basically the work, something that I can follow and put in my score and still feel physically really fit. So he was impressed. He was like, oh, you haven't stopped at all. I was like, no, we haven't stopped. So if you could talk about how you made that transition and how things are going for you guys and your members.
Transition.
It was a little in the beginning with technology and all.
We were think about it when they said, oh, you have to close. We were like, oh, all right. So we said, all right, tomorrow we're going to do a Zoom class. It was a Thursday, I remember. We just did one night class just to see how it went. We got through it. It wasn't, it wasn't like going to win any Academy Awards or anything. But we got through it, and then we've slowly worked out the bugs and worked out a system. And so now that we got it pretty well, where, the Zoom class, we actually have 3 cameras. So we have 1 camera for the coach. So when the coach is talking to the class, we have a TV set up so we can see everybody on the TV in a bigger screen as opposed to looking at a computer. And we worked it out where, all right, we need a separate camera just for the clock so everybody can see a clock so they can, watch the clock for their stretching, for their workout. And then we decided, well, since we got another one, let's do a separate camera that we can put in a certain area where we can do all our demonstrations so we don't have to mess with the camera, the main camera that we coached at. And we've hooked it up to our earbuds so that we can hear 3 cameras. And it works out pretty well. Sometimes, internet always has a little bit of play in it. Beth always seems to have it.
It's always me, right? Why is this happening?
But you can't help technology. That's what it is. But everybody knows. Everybody's very understanding, and they're patient with us.
So thanks. Yes.
So as if there's a glitch, and we have to log out and log everybody back in, they're all perfectly happy that they're there. They get to see their friends on the screens as well. Every Zoom class that we do, people going, oh, hey, Susan, how's things going? Or hey, so if they haven't seen that person in a class in a little while, maybe that person's been coming tonight and they decided to do a morning class one day. So they're still getting that personal interaction, which not a lot of people will get unless you got a big family like you guys.
That's right.
With us, is basically is me, Beth, and her son. So we get the 3 of us. Tired of looking at each other.
That's funny.
Where you can see other people and talk with other people.
Yeah. I was like, logistically it was like a little tricky, but we really wanted to still, that's why we decided to loan out a lot of the equipment, to members so you guys could still keep working out, because especially now, I think it's still really important to pay attention, of course, to health and fitness and keep moving.
Oh, yeah.
Logistically, it was a little tricky, but we really wanted to try to keep, some sense of community as well with the Zoom classes, or even making the videos that, to you guys. So seeing us on the videos and things like that. So you still kind of feel you're at the gym. And certainly we've said to, every member, we've sent emails, like if you have any questions or concerns or anything at all, please email us, contact us, whether Facebook, Instagram, anyway, to if there's anything at all we can do to help you at this time, because it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. I think your video views with Murph in it, your dog, gets the most views, by the way.
Where Murph is here, he's I think he really misses the gym too. Like he misses seeing everybody when we do take him to the gym, but sometimes it's tricky because he always tends to bark right when we start making the video.
Yeah.
Hi, Murph.
Hey, Murph, how are you?
When he's here, he's always looking at the door like, who's going to come in? Is anyone going to come in? So,
yeah, my son Isa, he loves any video that we have Murph in. He's like, oh, look, there's Murph.
right now, huh? Yeah, I think he definitely misses the gym and everybody too as well.
Yeah.
People dog.
He's a people dog.
I don't know. What's the outlook now? What are you hearing about the gym? I know phase 1 isn't allowing that to happen at this point.
The biggest thing we're working on right now is we've been in contact with all the other CrossFits in Rhode Island. We're all kind of working together. There's Adam Milano and Judah Boulay. They're kind of spearheading it for us, and they've been on with the lieutenant governor a couple times, really trying to just get our voice out there that we can be safe and still handle the social distancing and the sanitizing and cleanliness. Just letting them know that, we're ready. We're more than capable of tracking members. We know who's been in, who's, what days. We're perfectly capable of keeping everybody in one area, using the same equipment. That way, we're really pushing to get into phase 2. So hopefully we can get open in, weeks or so. That's the biggest push right now for it. And it's not just CrossFit gyms. We're trying to get other small gyms. They're not like giant Fitness who has 3,000 members where it's hard for them. They can probably still work it out, but they're going to have to really limit their membership and what they can come and how long you can be there, that type of thing, where it's a lot easier for us as a smaller gym to manage, a class of 10 people.
Yes.
We can handle that. We have the space to keep everybody safe distance away. We have the equipment so that nobody has to share equipment. And we'll have the cleaning material so that everybody can clean and sanitize everything when they're done with it. And
of course, ultimately, we're just trying to let the lieutenant governor in the state of Rhode Island make them more aware of how a micro gym or boutique gym or micro gym, whatever you want to, we're the category that we're in, how we run. And we run a little bit different than a bigger gym. That's how we want to make them aware and let them know that what we can do and willing to work with whatever guidelines they give us so that everybody is safe. We want everyone in our gym to be safe, and we want the community of Cumberland and Rhode Island to be safe as well.
Yes.
But we want to let them know and get the word up about how we operate as a smaller gym, just to get our voice out there.
Definitely. Yeah.
Be flexible.
Yes, we are. We are ready. No.
That's
an important word that's come up, and I think we can be flexible, with how we're running the class.
As things change, we can adjust it. If things aren't working out, we can adjust it. We have more of a capability to do that than larger stores. Even then, we can be more flexible than Dave's Marketplace or Walmart. Those bigger places. They don't know who's walking in there and wiping stuff down. We can make sure that everything that you touch when you come in has already been wiped down and sanitized, and then you're going to wipe it down and sanitize before you leave, and then the person's also going to wipe it down and sanitize before they use it again. So it's going to get doubly cleaned. So the exposure will be minimal, and we'll do our best. We'll do our best to keep everybody safe. Yeah, because ultimately, we want everyone to be safe. When we do reopen, it will be, a plan that we put a lot of thought into. We're not just going to open up one day and be like, hey, let's, open up. It's going to be a thought out plan. We're not doing this on a whim. That's why we want to, talk with the
the state of Rhode Island and let
You know,
them know what
we'll
we're
still
doing.
have the at-home workouts for people that still
don't want to
aren't
come in.
comfortable yet.
Yeah.
We'll work with some way to do the Zoom classes as well. Maybe it'll be a separate class time. You know, it'll be just like when we started with the Zoom. It'll be some trial and error.
Yeah.
To find out what works out best for the most people.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that makes sense.
We want everybody to still be safe, but also, you know, feel comfortable when they're working out, whether they still want to stay at home or come to the gym or whatever needs to be done, you know, to help people and help the community at large as well too.
Yeah, I think people are just waiting to come back to the gym and work out, and everybody's ready. They're like, let us go. But without the safety protocols, it wouldn't make any sense. And that's what I think you had marked out in the gym. I saw a photograph, I think you had marked out in the gym spaces as well already, right?
We have 12 10 by 10 spaces.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mark out where you'll come. You'll come in, you'll go to your space, you'll put your gear in the corner, your sweatshirt, your shoes, if you have a different pair of shoes. Your equipment will already be in there that you're going to need for the workout. If anything needs to change out, the coach will change it out for you. If the kettlebell's too heavy or the dumbbell's too heavy or whatever it is, you know, we'll change it out.
Yeah.
There's minimal, you know, cross-contamination and anything like that.
That's true. That's true. Is there anything else that you'd like to cover and you'd like to speak about?
I don't know. The main thing is we just miss everybody.
I know we do.
We miss you.
We've probably only got about, 30% of the people are doing the Zoom classes. So other, 70% that we're not seeing.
Yeah.
We'll see people in and things like
Which is
that.
great.
But
Keep doing
we're not getting to talk to them and see how they're doing and, interact, ask them how the family is, things like that. The things that make CrossFit what it is.
Yeah.
Community and us having that, knowing everybody in our community and being able to, just chit chat.
Yeah, no, like that's true. I do miss seeing everyone every day. Like as much as like when we started the CrossFit, we really wanted to, reach people, help people, become in better shape with nutrition as well to become aware of their eating habits and what they could change to live a healthier life. But also just talking with everybody, like we're saying, meeting so many different people has really changed and affected my life as well. And I just miss seeing everybody at the gym every day. Like that really makes me sad not to be able to see them every day.
Yeah, that's true. I think we all miss that. Hopefully we get back to that soon with your help and hopefully with all the safety protocols that need to get done. I think we all miss that. I really wanted to do, the reason why I wanted to do the interview with you is because I think a lot of people are not aware of CrossFit as a program to start with. And Diamond Hill CrossFit is pretty special. So hopefully all the people who are watching, I'll put a link to your website. And what about if somebody wanted to join, how do they join Diamond Hill CrossFit?
Even now, if someone wanted to join, we can start with, like, if they have not done CrossFit before, we could set up like a virtual class. We can take you through that way.
We can do like a one-on-one training for the Elements program.
So
okay, great. Oh, so you
get started, we can get you started. Don't let this be about, what's going on. We'll find a way. We will get you started.
That's so nice. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, I didn't realize that you could even take people on now, but you've got this set up and you could if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it.
Excellent.
Join. We're more than happy to sign you up.
Personal training you can do remotely.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Yeah.
A minimal of equipment or even without equipment, we can still give you good workouts just with your body weight and simple household things, like a 1 gallon jug, fill that up with water and that weighs something and you can do workouts with it.
That's true. I keep remembering things now. I'm sorry if I'm taking too much of your time. But what could people do? Just general public, what could they do to just keep themselves fit at home in this quarantine period? you have any tips for them?
If you don't get bored too easily, you could do push-ups, sit-ups, running. You can do those things every day. And, as long as you're not overdoing the push-ups, you can pretty much do sit-ups every day.
Okay.
Do push-ups every day, as long as you're not doing like 200 of them.
Yeah. That's right.
Even for,
Short runs, walk up and down your stairs.
Running, yeah, up and down the stairs. Like,
Mm.
do, even if you're like, well, I've never done any of this before, but getting up and down off your couch, like me getting up and down, that's a squat. That's an
Squats and
exercise,
lunges.
right?
That's right.
Like, do a couple laps around your house, come back inside your house and do like 5 or 10 squats. Repeat that, or we'll say 10 squats. Repeat that, 4 times, or whatever your level of fitness is at. Like, you can do push-ups on your kitchen counter, things like that, if you're not quite ready to do them from the
Yeah.
floor.
You can do our workouts. They can go on and just look at what the workout is. We have demo videos attached to pretty much all the workouts.
Yes.
Also, CrossFit.com has workouts, and they always put up at-home versions that people can do. And they'll have someone with 2 jugs doing a deadlift, and they'll just stand up, holding 2 jugs of water, and put it down. Stand up.
Wow.
They'll show you how to scale push-ups on the back of your couch, or do all different scale versions. They've really pushed the health initiative, which is really important right now.
Which was how they started, which,
That's right.
like it can be as simple as like taking a walk outside. And like I said, adding in some of the squatting or lunges, all those body weight exercises, do as many reps as you are capable of. And like I just was saying, with that walking around your house, coming in, doing a couple of squats, or if it's nice outside and you got a chair outside, do it outside. Fresh air is great too.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, and we'll hopefully connect with you again. And hopefully some of the people watching will go into Diamond Hill CrossFit and sign up for a free class and try to figure out, maybe we can have more people join up. And hopefully, yes, we're all waiting for you to open up very, very soon.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Thank you so much, Fawad.
Thank you. Take care, Beth and Keith.
Tell everyone hello.
Yeah, tell
We
the
missed
whole
them.
family.
We missed them.
I will. I'll tell them. I'll show it to them. Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.
Bye.